right? So all of these things are things. Put your hands up in the air if you're a teen who is feeling pressured to make decisions about your future, or even if you're a 20-something who is starting to feel like you're being left behind on your early career journey. Can you relate to any of this? Or are you a teacher, careers lead, parent, sibling of somebody who you're supporting on this journey? If you can relate to any of this, then this is the video for you. Keep on watching. So here's something that's really important for you to remember. It is not that you need to have your whole life figured out, right? Even if you are working on a UCAS application at the moment, even if you're applying for internships, like whatever stage you are in your early career journey, it is not a case of needing to have your whole life figured out. After all, our career journeys are 50 plus years these days, 50 plus years. So there is no way that when you're at the early stage of your career journey, you're going to have the whole thing mapped out, right? So let's take that pressure away from the situation right now. What I will say, and this probably isn't what you want to hear, is that if you're feeling overwhelmed with all of this at the moment, burying your head in the sand isn't going to help. In fact, taking deliberate, purposeful action, really leaning into careers exploration, that's what the game changer is going to be. Because when you decide to actively go along to talks, apply for opportunities related to volunteering, clubs and societies, work experience, when you decide to spend some time on platforms including Unifrog or The Forage or Bright Network or SpringPod and do some job simulations and virtual work experiences, like all of these things, dare I say, actually give you freedom as opposed to more pressure. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as I encourage you to actively lean into your careers exploration. So welcome back to the channel. I am Gina Visram. I'm a qualified careers coach and consultant, career development professional, and I really specialize in supporting students and graduates on their journey from education to employment and entrepreneurship, and doing so in a spirit of fun and optimism, not fear and overwhelm. I also specialize in supporting your cheerleaders. So that can be the employers who want their early talent, their young talent, to be doing really well and settling into their roles. That can include parents who are supporting their kids. And of course, that includes educational institutions who are very much here alongside you on your futures journey, right? This is really very much here for all of you. So let's talk about why active careers exploration really matters. Careers exploration isn't about choosing for life, as I mentioned. It's about noticing what is interesting. It's about self-reflection. It's about taking active steps to build your skills. And as part of that, building your skills and your experience process, you're actually discovering more and more about what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And let me tell you, from over a decade of experience, both of those levels of understanding are equally valuable, right? Understanding what it is that you are really interested in and understanding what it is that actually doesn't interest you or doesn't interest you anymore. So my intention is for this to be valuable wherever in the world you are, but let's talk about the UK context for now. Remember, when it comes to post-16 options, you have A-levels, IB, T-levels, V-levels are on their way, B-techs are still kind of on the table, and at the post-18 level, you also have apprenticeships, as you do sort of post-16 as well, and then you have university, and even when looking at university, are you looking at degree apprenticeships? Are you looking at courses like sandwich courses where you're away for a year doing a language? or you're doing a placement year. Like, all of these things are really good things to explore, to look at the possibilities, to look at the why. All of this, of course, in the greater context of ultimately, what is it that you are potentially interested in, that you're curious about doing? What do you want to be open to doing in the future, right? And the answer rarely comes from some kind of magical download, right? In the middle of the night. You're hardly gonna like sit up in bed and just sort of think, oh, that's it. I know what I want to do, right? That's not typically how it works. How it does work is, and say it with me now, careers exploration, right? Active careers exploration. So isn't it about time that you make a commitment to this? Now let's talk about some myths in relation to this. You ready? So let's do some myth busting. Don't make me break out my kickboxing moves from my 20s. I'm a little bit away from that now. But we are going to really bust some of those myths. So let's talk about some of them. Let's address it directly. Myth number 1. I need to know exactly what it is that I want to do. Now, we already talked about this even during this video, didn't we? And really, this is a total myth in that we are on a 50+ year career journey. And for somebody like me, I mean, I'm 20 years in, and there are still all sorts of things that I might do in the future, right? So if you're at the early stage of your career journey, you're certainly not expected to know exactly what you want to do. What I will say, and this is true, is that there are certain roles, right? So for example, anything medical, and not anything medical, not anything within healthcare, but like becoming a doctor, a vet, or a dentist, like you need to do specific degrees and qualifications for that. To be an architect, you need to do specific apprenticeships and degrees for that. And likewise, to be an engineer. And then also when it comes to nursing, also there are specific ways that you need to do that as well. So nursing, I mentioned kind of at the end there, because actually it's a little bit more common for people to go into midwifery or nursing or something like that at a later stage in their career. In fact, one of my closest friends at the moment, who is also 20 years into her career, is currently retraining as a midwife, right? That's far more common. You see it a little bit less of people sort of retraining to go to be a doctor or a vet at that stage, but it's not impossible. But really, those are some of the specific areas where, yes, you probably need to choose specific subjects to get into that. Or, you know, you need to do an undergrad degree, for example, like biomedical sciences, and then maybe you'll go the graduate medicine route. Ultimately, there are very few things that need you to have studied something specific to go on to do them as a career. So most things aren't counted within that, which is one of the very many reasons why it's not a case of knowing what you want to do for your whole life. There were always opportunities to retrain, and actually in many cases it's not even that you need to retrain, it's that your skills are so transferable from the different things that you've done that you can change industries. Now, yes, at certain times changing industries can seem tricky, but it is absolutely possible. So that is one myth that I hope that we have busted wide open, right? The myth that you need to know exactly what job you want to be able to explore your potential. Quite the opposite. Actually, if you explore your potential and you actively explore your career possibilities, then you'll get clearer on what jobs you're interested in at this stage. Myth number 2. There is one perfect career for me. No. Just no. There isn't. There isn't. Now, here's the thing. You're very welcome to drop into the comments if you are more advanced in your career and you want to turn around and go, Gina, you have said that that's a myth, but actually, I've been wanting to do this thing since I was 8 and I've done it since I was 80. Do you know what? If that's the case, I love that for you. It's really true. Like, there are always exceptions. So that is amazing. It's really beautiful to have loved a craft for a very long time and to be able to stick within it. However, there is not one perfect thing for anybody. And with the rate that technology is changing and possibilities are changing and expanding and all of that, actually, if you don't shift and move and retrain and stay current and get to understand AI or get to understand whatever else it is that comes up, then actually that puts you in a trickier position career-wise because you're staying static. There's a great book that has literally nothing to do with AI because it came out many, many years ago, but it's called Who Moved My Cheese, right? It's a great kind of like little allegory, and it's a reminder on actually why we need to shift and change. And so, yes, there is one perfect career for me. Absolutely not. And there's another book here that I will recommend you checking out. And it is great. It is a really, really great one for understanding what it can be like to really actively explore lots of different careers, because the person that wrote this book tried out 25 different types of work experience, right? And really different. We're talking like from farming to photography. So do check that out. I will try to remember to link to her TEDx talk as well in the comments. Myth number 3, we can bust really quickly. It's the idea that if I make the wrong choice, I'm stuck forever. For all the reasons that we've already discussed, so I really don't need to go into it. It's not true, right? It's not true that you will be stuck forever. In fact, it's incredibly common for especially early in people's careers to kind of do quite a bit of chopping and changing, to be in a certain role for 18 months, another role for 2.5 years, another role for a little bit less time. So that is really quite common. And then as people move into the mid sort of stage of their career, it might not be that the changes happen that much. But again, having worked with people at all different stages in their career, I can assure you that changes are made along the way. So what is even better, actually, is if you can not see your initial choices as a mistake, but see them as part of your journey, own them, be positive about them, and let me know if you would like me to go into that on another video at some point soon, because that's quite an important one. So let's talk about what happens if you don't explore your careers early. Let's talk about what happens if you don't. You know what happens when you don't make your own choices? People make them for you, right? People make them for you. And sometimes it is out of love, right? This isn't a sinister thing. But if you're not engaging on your career's exploration, then you know what? Then a loving parent or guardian or a really supportive teacher or sibling is going to say, you know what? You should go do this. And because you haven't taken the time to actively explore your own interests, it gets to a stage in our curriculum and on our journey where actually we have to make decisions, right? We have to, right? Whether that's because we're leaving school or we're leaving university, whatever it is, there are these sort of inflection points, aren't there? Where you have to go off and do something. And so if you haven't actively explored your own career, then somebody else is going to make some choices for you. And that's kind of one of the consequences of not really getting involved yourself. And that can really be seen as choosing based on risk or pressure as opposed to interest. And it would be so much cooler if you get to make choices out of interest. Here are some other potential consequences, right? And I share all of this with you, my love, in a supportive way, right? Not in a pressured one. You may waste time or money due to rushed decisions, right? Rushed decisions because you have to make them in this moment. It can sometimes lead to feeling lost or stuck a little bit later on because you're not so in tune with your own interests, right? It's been more incidental than deliberate. You can perhaps feel like lower motivation, right? Lower motivation because you feel disconnected from your own goals. And among all of this, what I really want to explain is about exploring active careers exploration isn't about commitment and commitment that you can't change. It's actually about freedom and it's about clarity. And I really want that for you. And I hope, more importantly than what I want for you, I hope that you want it for yourself. And what I will say is, remember that wherever you are, if you are in the education system, there is support there for you. You just might need to lean in and find it. So if you're in a school or college, there will be a careers leader, a team potentially if you're in a college, and they would love to hear from you if you want to book an appointment. Likewise, if you are at uni, then there is your career center. Reach out to them. And then beyond that, it's about kind of reaching out to qualified careers professionals to help you along that journey, right? But remember, if you are a graduate who has graduated within the last few years, often your university will even support you at that stage, right? So look at what support that you can be getting, what real clear qualified guidance you can be getting for free. Not for free, because you would have paid university fees, right? So not for free, but like included. But then beyond that, my goodness, invest in yourself, or, encourage somebody to help you with that kind of investment. So you're getting some of that sort of one-on-one guidance support if it will be helpful for you. So whether you're a teen or a 20-something, here are some simple ways that you can actively explore different career options. Number 1, talk to people. Just talk to people, have informal conversations. One of the things that we talk about a lot in the school where I work is careers curiosity, right? That's the terminology that we use about just being curious. Have more in-depth conversations than you've ever had with your parents or with an aunt, or at the time of recording this, the holiday season is coming up, right? You might be around other family. And so really just actively engage. Go beyond these sort of surface level conversations. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm all right, everything's great, right? And actually get curious. Have more informal conversations with people. That's one of the ways that you can actively explore careers. And here's another, and this is really important. Try stuff, right? Because as many conversations as you can have, and I do really encourage that, it's all about you doing, because you doing is what really helps you to figure out what is of interest to you. So that includes online work experience tasters, volunteering, work experience, and work experience can include like your teenage school work experience or spring weeks or internships. Ultimately, any work that you do is work experience, right? So it can be shadowing, it can be something entrepreneurial, it can be enhanced by some kind of passion project, right? Just sort of things that you're interested in. It might include content creation. So all of these things are really active ways that you can explore potential careers. Number 3 is actually to use careers tools. So I'm going to include content within that, right? So that includes, being on channels such as this and listening to podcasts and doing all of those sorts of things. So those are more careers resources, let's say. But when it comes to careers tools, you might have things like Unifrog. You might have things like Moresby or My Future Choice, right? You might have access to those sorts of things. There are also lots of different tools available online as well. So check out some of the ones that you might see named here and just explore further, right? There are some careers tools out there which can help. How about the best way to know about whether a career is going to be a good fit? There are a few things that you can contemplate on this, including the 3 Ps, right? The 3 Ps: passion, practicality, and progression, right? Those are all things that you can think about. So do you feel passionate about what it is that you're doing in some way, shape, or form? Whether it is the type of organization, whether it's the work that you do, whether it's the impact that you're having, whether it's the skills that you get to build, whether it is the sort of day that you can construct and location and life that you're creating for yourself. So whatever that passion can look like, does that exist in some kind of way? If it does, then you're on a path to recognizing that this kind of role, this kind of career is one that can fit in with your overall career journey. Practicality relates to things like your qualifications and your lifestyle and what is important for you, right? Your location. So those are the sorts of things that kind of relate to the practicality of whether something will work at certain stages in your career journey. And number 3, progression is exactly as it sounds. Is there room for you to grow, learn, and change? If there is, it means that you can potentially stay along that path. If growing and learning is something that you want to do, you can stay on that path and keep growing. However, if you're doing something where you kind of like start to feel stuck, then again, it's a case of pivoting and doing something different and trying something else or doing it in a different way. All of these considerations are really useful when you are trying to establish what you are really engaging with, what feels really exciting for you as you actively explore your career potential and career possibilities. And remember, it doesn't matter if all 3 of those things aren't clear now, right? But hopefully it's given you an indication of some of the things that can help you to work out whether something feels good, whether it feels right for you on your career path. So, do you want to exhale with me? Like genuinely, right? Even if you're like watching this in a class, right, with classmates, take a moment and just exhale. Take the pressure off. Let your shoulders drop. Yes, it is about your life and your future, but it doesn't need to feel like pressured and stressful. It really can be fun. It really can be interesting. And I'm hoping by, really highlighting that the decisions that you're making today aren't decisions that you're married to. They're not decisions for forever. They're decisions based on the facts and the information you have now. And do you know what? If you actively do careers exploration, if you actively engage in that, then you can 100% know that you are making the best decisions for you with the information that you have at this stage of your career. But here's another thing to recognize and to expect, that as you formally go into the workplace and you do different jobs, and maybe you're even watching this like many jobs in, right? Because you're like, okay, like this, the title of this video means that it's for me, even if I am 20 years into my journey. You will know that the more things that you do, the more clarity that you get. That's why I've had a journey which has involved like working in communications and working in the media and doing lots of things like that, and then moving into education and creating a portfolio career. Like, nothing was wasted. My internship in publishing when I was at university, that wasn't wasted. That was actually awesome. But nothing is wasted, right? It all contributes. So why not just get involved and, be the captain of your own ship, or some kind of similar saying like that makes sense for this stage in your journey. My 9-year-old, soon to be 10-year-old daughter often says, "Mummy, remember that it is," what does she say? She says, "Practice makes progress, not practice makes perfect," right? And that's something that we've talked about for years. And that is something that I hope is going to be really clear from you from watching this. So this is about choosing your next best step, not what you're going to be doing forever. And what I'd love to know in the comments is, what is a step that you are going to take? If you've reached this stage in the video, I'd love you to take a couple of minutes and just comment below and say what step you are going to take, what reflection have you made, what action are you going to take, what are you committing to? I would absolutely love to know. And also it's going to help you just kind of distill the thoughts that are ricocheting around your mind and help you sort of focus on something that's going to be really useful. Remember that your future is flexible. It is not about a clear path. It is about the squiggly career. Your future is flexible, and taking action to actively explore your career is going to make such a big difference. All right, my lovely, that is it for now. Make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss the next video, and I'm really excited to see you on another video soon. Bye. Enjoyed this video? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and make sure that you come back for another video soon.